Assalamualaikum and hi all. Today we are going to reflect about two short stories that we decided from our 5 previous discussion. But before that, I'm sorry if my voice not so clear. I still having a fever, cough and cold, so please forgive me for that. Now, before we start, we are going to introduce ourselves again. Hi again, my name is Fathiah Binti Zuhaizat and my metric number is J46202. Here are my group members, so they will introduce themselves as well. Let's start with Bibi Marliyana first.
Hi, my name is Bibi Marliyana Binti Mahsin and my metric number is J46223.
Hi, my name is Aiman Hanani Binti Ramli and my metric number is J462200.
Hi, my name is Muhamad Zamri. My metric number is J46198.
Okay, thank you all. The title of short story 1 is Soraya's story. This story was written by Winnie Albers. This story talks about family of Soraya, which is the main character in that story is Soraya and Angela. Angela is a mother of 5 lovely girls. As a mother, Angela just wants her children to be safe and happy, but sometimes, as a human, she can do anything that out of her control. The sacrifice that she made to her child when Soraya need to be hospitalized really made me sad and understand that being a parent is not easy at all. We can see how strong and brave she was when she encountered a situation like that. We also can see how she defends the right of her child, especially when the staff of Puerto Rico government look down to her. As for the short story 2, which is the Devoted Friends, that written by Oscar Wilde, the story talks about friendship. The main character in that story were Little Hans and the Greatest Smiler. Little Hans had a great many friends, but he really devoted to the Greatest Smiler. Little Hans always believed to the noble ideas that the Greatest Smiler shared, especially about friendship. However, Little Hans never realized how selfish the Greatest Smiler to him. We can see how the Greatest Smiler never visited Little Hans in winter. We also can see how the Greatest Smiler asked for Little Hans' promises with the reason of friendships. We can also see how the Greatest Smiler used Little Hans to do his work at the market and called the doctor when the son of Greatest Smiler fallen off a ladder. That's all that I can reflect on our two short stories. How about you, Bibi Marliyana?
Okay, thank you, Fathiah. So, based on the story of Devoted Friend and the story of Soraya, I think these two stories has its own valuable and interesting story that we can learn from. Firstly, what can I reflect back about the story of Soraya was about Angela, who is a mother to Soraya, who sacrifices herself for the sake of her daughter and all her children. She also shows how hard she tried to save her daughter in the story, even though there are so many obstacles and challenges they have been go through. Moreover, Angela also can be described as a strong woman of her family. She carries within the power to endure pain and the courage to sacrifice for her children. Secondly, from the story of a devoted friend, I can conclude that this story is totally about a social commentary to expose society for what it is. It is obviously the theme about the selfishness and the friendship also. It is often uncaring and turning a blind eye to moral or unjust things. The piece shows a great deal in the contrast between social classes. So, what about you, Iqmar?
Thank you, Bibi Marliyana. Based on the first story, we have chosen which is Soraya, written by Winnie Albers. What can we reflect from this story is how the sacrifice from both parents who fight for their children's life and are willing to do anything for their child. The sacrifice and efforts made by Bruce and his wife to save their child, Soraya has shown the value of love from a parent to a child is too valuable and precious. For the second story that we have chosen, which is The Devoted Friend by Oscar Wilde, what can be highlighted based on this story is the value of friendship shown in this story. We can see from the character of Little Hen, who deeply loved his friendship with Hardy Miller and until the end of his life. It is clear that the value of friendship shows how important is it to have a good friend in life. So that's about the flash for the book story. So how about you, Hanani?
Okay, so thank you, Iqmar. For the Soraya story written by Winnie Leonard Bice, the synopsis is not every parent can be there for their children. Not always can you protect them from harm. What happens when it out of your hand? What will you do next? This short story explain the situation of my daughter Soraya. As a family, we have overcome many obstacles to be where are we now. This story will make you live the words of a mother suffering from the injustice that happen every day. For the next story is The Devoted Friend by Oscar Wilde. The devoted friends tell us about value of friendship. I think friendship is a great bond for people to connect with each other without any sorts of judgment or boundaries. The story revolves around two friends having distinct idea about friendship. The story portrays one side's friendship between Hans and the Miller. Even though I don't like happy ending, and this story didn't have one, I still like it. I like it as it has a more realistic approach. In reality, many people suffer from one-sided friendship. Even if you do everything for them, they are not willing to do anything for you in return. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Hanani. I really enjoy the both of the story that we have chosen. One about family and another one is about friendship. These two themes is common and can relate to our life. But if I only can choose one, I will choose our story. After all, the family is important and matter to us. I really feel how hard a parents, especially a mother, to encounter the situation like that. If a mother feel weak or down, she can express the feeling in front of her children in order to not let them worry about them. Actually, I really can relate to this. As a daughter, I can see how hard my parents try to be strong in front of me, especially when my pain come at that time. I really know the sacrifice that they made to me is touch. So, in order to make them secure, I will do my best to find pain and live my life well. What about your choice and story, Bibi Marliyana?
Thank you, Fathiah. So as for me, the most interesting story that I think really caught my attention is the story of Soraya. Why I choose this story is because it is totally related to my life as I am a mother to my 4 children. I could feel the mother's love in this story. The love and the sacrifices of Angela as a mother is something that we really cannot explain, just like what our mother did to us to raise us until who we are now. A mother's denial, honor, sacrifice in the story really touches me and also all the readers about the love and the kind of mother's heart. So what about you, Iqmar?
Thank you, Bibi Marliyana. Personally, the story that made a huge impact in me as I read it and understood the storyline was Soraya's story. For me, the sacrifice and love shown in this story is very closely related to my life experience. My parents were very loving to me as well as their siblings. Their sacrifice in raising me to this day makes me feel very grateful to my parents. So how about you, Hanani?
Okay, so thank you, Iqmar. I choose The Devoted Friend because I think the story is have a similar with my experience. The Devoted Friend is a satirical fairy tale about friendship. While I have since learned there is method behind the madness in the infuriating story he tells. A pompous and opinionated old water rat is heard to be waxing lyrical about the rarity and nobility of Devoted Friend. You can never get tired of a story within a story. I really like some of the morals what has about friendship and love in his tale. I think I should have hated and needed some of this moral when I was younger. I think we underestimate the importance of friendship and so on. So that's all from me.
Thank you all. So actually, story teach us about life, ourselves, and others. Storytelling is a unique way for us to develop an understanding respect and appreciations for other cultures and positive attitude to people from different land, race, and religions. Take the moral story that teaches us about how to behave in the world and to be a better person. That's all for today. Thank you to Madam Nurin Albiani for your guide. Assalamualaikum and good evening.